Good morning. We are in Philly. We got here yesterday. We drove from Cleveland across Pennsylvania all of yesterday. And I want to recap today a little bit about our trip, what we did when we got into town, and then what we're doing today as well. So we woke up at the crack of dawn yesterday, got up and got some coffee, and then started driving. We spent almost the entire day on the road, and it was really nice to do it because we haven't had a chance to have a really good road trip in a little bit of time, and it's one of our favorite ways to spend our time. We just talk, we listen to music, we scheme, we plot, we plan, and it's always a blast. So we were excited. So our drive across Pennsylvania was really fun. We got to talk about a lot of ideas that we had for Filthlamb and just, have that time to reconnect in the way that you can really only do when you're stuck in a car together for a 7-hour drive. And things were going really well. We were just having a really fun time. And then it got time to get some lunch. So I did a search locally to see if I could find a local restaurant for us to check into. We always try and avoid chains when we're on the road so we can support small businesses. And there were a couple of options that came up, and we settled on a diner that was just outside of Harrisburg in a place called Mechanicsburg. And it looked cool from the outside. It was all kind of metal and vintagey, and we were like, this kind of rocks. And we came in and we saw some very interesting looking characters. Just in the entryway alone, there was a priest, there was an old guy, there was like a young family, and we were like, this is an interesting spot. So we sat down and we ordered, and food was a little slow, but we weren't too worried about it because we still had lots to talk about. And then the food came out, and it was absolutely atrocious. It was so bad. Chad got chicken fingers and fries, and it was like a pile of just chicken fingers with like some limp fries thrown on top. He had this like salad covered in ranch dressing, and then they brought out this bowl of like tinned peas and carrots, and yeah, the whole thing looked nasty. And I ordered a burger. I just got a cheeseburger, and it came out on an uncooked bun. The meat was like mixed with some kind of grain to bind it and was all grizzly, and the cheese that came on it was like plastic mayo. It wrinkled when you took a knife to it. It was absolutely terrifying. So I didn't eat any of my lunch. Chad gave me some of his fries, one of his chicken fingers, and that's that. So we were disturbed. The conversations we overheard at lunch were also a little disturbing. Definitely a very small town. But we got back on the road, we continued driving, and we rolled into Philly with a couple of hours to spare before our first client shoot. So we showered, got all of our equipment out, got settled in the space, and then popped downstairs just to grab some waters and some snacks for the shoot, and saw that we got a parking ticket. We parked out front to unload our vehicle, and had not seen the tiny print on the parking signs that said that you had 2-hour parking, but only if you paid for it at the machine. We had not seen the machine, it was behind a tree. So that wasn't great. But whatever, we got over it. We went and found proper parking because we left the car overnight, grabbed our stuff, and then waited for Stephanie, who was our first client. And we got to spend the rest of the evening working with her. So she brought a bunch of really cool clothes. She made this fantastic headpiece for her to wear. And she had really nice makeup done. She was makeup ready when she came to the shoot, which is always good because it gives us more time to work with her behind the camera. And it was just lovely. We got to do some really beautiful portrait work. I was shooting behind the scenes stuff while Chad was working. And we just had a blast. It was so fun to connect with someone that we kind of know a little bit now online. And she followed Chad's work for years. So it was a cool experience, I think, for everyone to just be able to get together and do something creative and fun for our first night. We did want to go out afterwards. We'd heard really good things about Tattooed Mum, and it wasn't that far from us. It's up in Germantown, which is about a 7-minute drive. But after the road trip, Chad had slept 4 hours the night before, and after shooting, we were just dog tired. So we went and grabbed some pizza, came back to the place, ate a slice, and conked the fuck out. Or tried to. We tried to. The noise in our apartment is a little much. There's a really loud fan outside and the walls are thin, so we hear every footstep that our upstairs neighbors make. It sounds like there's a ghost going up a spiral staircase in this apartment because they're all connected, and so when one person goes up the staircase in another apartment, we hear it. But we did manage to get some sleep. We got up this morning, showered, and just went for a little stroll around this block. And it's lovely. There's some really cool storefronts. It's really creative. We grabbed some great breakfast, had really good coffee this morning, and just got to sit and chat a little bit about making the most of being here. We're only here for one more day before we head up north. But we've just got a chance to kind of sit and reflect on where we're at. And yeah, there's things to like about Philly. Definitely not my favorite city so far, but I really like what they're doing with this area downtown. So after we get wrapped up and packed today, we're gonna head over to Vern's. We're gonna do some video work with her to promote her business, some portrait photography, and just get to spend some time kind of exploring and working in her space, which should be really exciting. I know that she and Chad have worked together on a couple of projects for her business before, so I'm super excited to meet her. And then we'll be heading off to our second location to go crash. And then the next day we're up to New York, so it is just go, go, go. But yeah, good trip so far.